All right, guys, I got to tell you a story that is going to show you just how easy it is to beat 90, 95, maybe even 99% of people in life. So, for those of you who don't know, my main source of income is as a real estate agent. And the main way that I get clients as a real estate agent is by posting content on Instagram. And one of the main kinds of content that I post is local news stories. So I'll go find developments going on in the area, new projects being done, or roads being expanded, a schools being built. Here's this community event going on. And I'll make these reaction stories to them and I'll post them on my Instagram. And what happens is I did this a few times and I had a bunch of real estate agents start coming up to me and they're like, man, it seems like you know everything that's going on in the area. Like, how do you know all this stuff? This is crazy. How do you know all of these stories that are happening? I don't know how you're doing it. And my answer to them was I go on Google and I type in Lake Norman News. Lake Norman's the kind of region that I live in. I type in Lake Norman News, or I type in Charlotte Metro News, or Mooresville News. Mooresville is the town I live in. I literally would type in a Google search and just see what comes up. And people are like stunned by this. So the difference between being an expert, somebody that everyone is so impressed by, like, holy cow, how does this guy know everything about what's going on in the area, and being a complete novice is one Google search. And I get to be this expert to people. People come up to me, man, you know everything going on in the area. Literally one Google search. That was it. All I had to do. It was so simple. Like it's crazy. And then along with this, sometimes I'll have other agents tell me they've got a client that they can't find a house for. They'll be like, yeah, I'm trying to I can't find the house for them. I'm like, well, did you look here? Like, they'll tell me what their client's looking for. I'm like, oh, well, here, show them this house. And it's the house they've been looking for. And they're like, how do you know all this stuff? I'm like, I literally go on the MLS, which is the realtor database that has all the houses for sale, and I see what's for sale. Like, I don't understand why this is complicated. I go talk to new construction builders and see what's going on in their neighborhoods, and people are like blown away by this. Like, I can just spit this stuff off the top of my head. And I'm not special. The point is, it's so easy to beat 90% of people. The bar is insanely low. I used to work in retail. I worked at a UPS store and I ended up being the supervisor of the store. And, it's just, it's a retail job. It's, it's kind of stressful, but it's not really a hard job. It's pretty straightforward. It's crowded and that can be kind of frustrating, but it's really not a big deal. Most of you have probably worked a retail job at some point, but the number of people that we had to fire because they simply could not handle this job was just insane. I would say at least 33%, so one out of every three people that we hired at a minimum got fired within the first 2 weeks because they were either late every day, they would have an emotional breakdown because a customer was mean to them. We had multiple people who a customer would get mad at them about the price of something and they would go out to the back of the store and start crying, or they just have some breakdown and hide in the bathroom for the rest of their shift. And I'm like, what the hell is going on here? This is ridiculous. Or we had literally one or two people who were stealing stuff from a UPS store. Like, what is there, steal cardboard boxes? Like, what are we doing here? Or they would like lie about how long they were on lunch. You had a 30-minute lunch break and they would take an hour and a half and hope that nobody noticed. Like, so we're just firing people left and right. So of those people, about a third of them would get fired within 2 weeks. And then about another third of them, so now we're up to 2/3, would be fired within a month or two because they just would be screwing up. It would be insane. And then on top of that, the people who did manage to keep their jobs would just be doing ridiculous stuff while they're on their shift. They would just have no idea how to do basic functions of a job. So again, the bar is stunningly low. I became the supervisor of the store simply by showing up and trying, okay? And I'm not acting like I was like the CEO of Goldman Sachs. This was not the hardest thing in the world to accomplish. But the point is, like, you see how easy that is. I literally just showed up on time, didn't have emotional breakdowns, and I was like the best person in the store. It was kind of crazy. I don't know. I mean, it's just insane how low the bar is, guys. Think about fitness. The average person does nothing but eat rancid seed oils and sugar and white flour all day and sit on their ass watching Netflix. The average Gen Z person spends 9 hours a day on their phone, okay? To be better than that, you just have to not eat like crap and exercise a little bit. Like, if you take a walk every single day and just don't eat crap, you are in like the top 10% of people in health by the time you're 30. I mean, it's insane how low the bar is. And this should be exciting to you. If you feel like you're down bad, you're probably not nearly down bad as much as you think, because you're probably paying attention to social media. You're looking around and you're seeing, oh my God, all these people, they're just crushing it in life. You're seeing the outliers. Go around and look on a day-to-day basis at how people are doing. The average person in America, I believe the household income, that's a two-person household, right? Household income is 70,000. The average individual makes less than 40. I don't know how people are living off this, truthfully, but this is what people are doing. The average person is swamped in credit card debt. The average person is obese. The average person is divorced. The bar is so low, and all you have to do better than these people is just do minimal stuff, just minimal basic stuff. I really was noticing this recently when it came to fashion. Fashion is something that I've always wanted to take seriously, but it's kind of expensive, and you just have to prioritize other things. You look like an idiot if you're spending thousands of dollars on your wardrobe, but you can't afford a nice car, or you're in debt to do it. So I'm going to be disciplined about that and wait till I've really got the money to spend on it. But it's been something that recently, I think, probably in about 6 months' time, I'll be able to start investing some money into it. And I started paying attention to what average people are wearing. And I was like, nobody cares about their style. Like, women will care about their style. Like, and even with women, it's like women just tend to look good no matter what. So they can kind of wear like Target clothes and it looks fine. But so even within the women, it's like very few of them actually put serious effort into it. And then within the guys, it's like none. The average man is wearing like a New York Giants t-shirt. There's something ridiculous like that. And then when they do wear, nicer clothes, it's like, oh, I got really dressed up today. And they put on like a polo shirt that's baggy and it was sitting on the floor of their bedroom or something and it's wrinkly. They don't even iron the shirt. You look around like, God, like, if you just put on like decent looking clothes, you're just going to stand out so much. It's insane. And the real beauty of the fact that the bar is so low is not just that it's like low in one area. It's that it's low across the board when you aggregate all of this out. So here's what I mean by this. How many people out there are making, let's say, six figures, which, six figures used to be something. I'm making $100,000. I mean, it's not that much anymore, let's be honest, with inflation, but we'll use it as a number because most people still aren't making six figures. Even in America, the average person is, like I said, making like 30, 40 grand a year. So 100,000 is a pretty high bar. I believe the number is like 10% of people are making six figures per year. Okay, so 10% of people are making six figures per year. Of those people who are making six figures per year, what percentage of them do you think are in great shape? Probably not many. We'll be generous and say that of the people making six figures, we'll say 10% of them are in great shape. Okay, so we got that leads us to 1% of the total population, because 10% of the 10%, that's 1% of the total population, is in shape and making six figures. Now let's throw in things like being well-read and articulate. You've got some interesting opinions in your head rather than just whatever the mainstream culture is. You can have an interesting conversation. You have thoughts. You have ambitions in life. How many people are doing that? Like that's rarer than six figures. That's rarer than having a great body. I know plenty of people in great shape who are total morons, okay? So we add in career, health, having a brain that is actually functioning. Okay, we're at 3 right now. How about dresses well? Adding that into the picture. How about, has a social life? How about has like different hobbies and passions? Who, isn't a total like beta male kind of mainstream guy who's actually got that confidence and that masculinity about him. You start stacking these things up. They're on their own. They're all pretty straightforward things to do, to make six figures. You need, at minimum, you need a six-figure skill, or you need to know how to sell, something like that. To, be in good shape, you just need to be consistent in the gym and eat consistently. Like, these things are really not complicated. To have interesting opinions, you just need to read a book. The average person doesn't read any books. You read one book a year, you've read more than most people, okay? You start stacking these things up, and it's just like you're head and shoulders above everybody simply by just doing good daily actions. It's nothing magical. It's not dramatic. And this is something that has started to become apparent to me. And I'm not even really that well defined. I've got a ton of areas where I've still got a lot of work to do. I feel like I'm like 5% of my ultimate potential. But I still look around in the world and I'm just like, okay, who out here is really like competing with me? On a daily basis, I go around, I'm like, nobody's in the shape I'm in. Nobody's talking about the goals I'm talking about. Nobody has the skill set I have. And again, I don't feel like I had to do much of anything. It was just me doing the right thing over and over and over again for years. And all of a sudden, you just look around and there's this gap between you and the average person because the bar is so low that it doesn't require anything dramatic. I wasted probably 50% of my 20s and still was light years ahead of the average person by the time that I'm here. And it's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger. The gap between you and the average person will get higher and higher if you just keep doing the right things because everybody else is trending this way and you're trending up like that. The bar is so low, guys. I hope this is motivational for you. I hope that you really take this and think about it and realize all I need to do is just make a few changes, and in a year, I'm going to be in a completely different place relative to everybody else. If you're not in great shape now, just put a year into it, and you're going to be ahead of everybody. That's it. It's not a crazy concept. So guys, just remember that the bar is so low, and if you want to beat 90, 95, 99% of people, you just got to do the right things on a daily basis. It's not rocket science. Anybody can do it. It's really so simple. There is no excuse for not doing it. I don't care if you're short. I don't care if you're bald like me. Just go improve yourself. You're going to be so much further ahead of the average person who is doing nothing but falling apart on a daily basis. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you in the next video.